Now, there's a couple of things that we still need to go over. Number one, what's the issue with this NFT? Why might IPFS not be the best place to have your image stored? It's better than using HTTPS and then a website, but why might this not even be as good? And then additionally, what the heck is this ABI.encode pact? We've used this ABI encode function selector, encode this, encode that. What is this? Well, one at a time. Let's first answer the question, why might this still not be the best place to host this data? So if we host our image on a website, right? Like you saw some of the Pudgy Penguins were HTTPS. You saw a couple of my images use HTTPS. Again, like I said, if those websites go down, if you go to view that NFT, you're going to get nothing back. You're going to get a broken JPEG link, making your NFT essentially, well, worthless, right? So IPFS is much better because anybody can pin this and keep that image up forever. So let's actually begin to work on a solution where we can actually host our NFT on a more decentralized, more censorship resistant, more permissionless, more immutable way. The issue, as I was saying with IPFS, is that if I'm the only IPFS node that has this data pinned and my node goes offline, for example, if my IPFS node is just on my computer right here and I turn my computer off, nobody can have access to that file, which means that if we went to my MetaMask or to OpenSea, we would see a broken JPEG image here, right? We wouldn't see anything. The reason IPFS is better than a centralized server is because other people can pin this, right? If I put this NFT up and other people like this NFT collection or this NFT, they can pin it to their own nodes. But this method is so popular because it is incredibly cheap to do, right? It's really easy to spin up an IPFS node and pin your data to that node. This method that I'm about to show you is a little bit more expensive, but it's way more decentralized because all of your metadata is actually going to be on chain. Now, here's one thing you can do so that when you pin data to an IPFS node, it actually stays up there for good. What you can do is you can come to different services like pinata.cloud and actually have them pin your metadata for you. So what I can do is I come here, let's start building, sign up, I'm a builder. And once we're logged in here, just like an IPFS node, we can hit add files, choose a file, and then just drop your file in here. And when you do that, you'll be able to get a hash of each one of your projects like this one. And this way, you know you have somebody else at least pinning your data. And whenever I'm using a project that uses some type of file in IPFS, I always deploy the file to my own IPFS node, and then I'll also pin it to something like Pinata as well. But what we can do is we can use something called an SVG. Now, I've got a tutorial on this using Hardhat with your SVG being 100% on chain. If you want to go check that out, it's going to be very similar to what we're doing here. And we've got an example of a totally on-chain SVG, which this looks pretty ugly, I know, but this was a project where I had a Chainlink VRF create random lines to make a provably random SVG on chain. So we're going to use this strategy where we're going to basically encode our image as an SVG type, and this image is stored 100% on chain. Now, this image is gross and doesn't really look like anything. The images that we're going to do are going to be in this image folder, dynamic NFT. It's going to be like this happy SVG and that sad SVG, right? So a little bit more interesting.